promise that this information I'm going to give to you today is quite important. So, first of all, I'm delighted to be here to share this very important information to help take care of your clients. And I wanted to thank my niece, Norma Axel Tan, who is the current president of AFHA, for inviting me. So before we start the discussion, also I wanted to add that besides being a case nursing manager at Queens Medical Center, I'm also a nursing adjunct faculty at Hawaii Pacific University's College of Nursing and Health Sciences. So I do know some of the things that I'm talking about here. And it's going to be very basic. I'm not going to mention anything scientific with you, because the whole purpose of my presentation is to help you take care of your clients. So let me ask you this question. Who among you have clients that has dementia or history of dementia? Everybody! And that is what I see when I help with the discharges at Queens Medical Center. A lot of our elderly, and believe it or not, even the young generation now, as young as 30 or 40, is now developing dementia for various reasons, right? So, I have another question. Who among you have had no experience of having miscommunication or a perfect, 100% excellent communicator? Nobody. Exactly, because every day we encounter different people, different personalities, and there's always somehow a chance of miscommunication. But today, we're going to talk about guidelines for better communication with brain-impaired adults. Who do you think are considered brain-impaired adults, besides the dementia clients that we have? How about those who have mental retardation, or those who have developing urinary tract infection, and all of a sudden they have altered mental status? All of a sudden they're confused, they don't know who you are. Temporarily brain impaired adults. So what are those impaired adults? So communicating with your loved one is already, especially those elderly clients that you have, is already hard to do. And on top of that, those who are brain impaired also are difficult to communicate with, because, for the main reason, because they have cognitive impairment. They cannot process things said to them or what they see properly, because there's already something wrong with their brain. Somehow the neurons are not connecting properly. So, what does it mean? So, someone who has a brain disorder is not quickly able to respond to your question. And they're always challenged to understand what you're telling them or asking them, because there's already something wrong with them mentally, on top of the many chaos around them. And so the difficulties often by your role as a caregiver. They couldn't care less whether they understand you or not. They just want to do what they want to do, right? And then you try to get them to do things and they're just not paying attention. And just like I said, the difficulty lies on you as a caregiver. And and also, sometimes they are, if they want to tell you something, they have this, having a difficulty with finding the right words to get your point across. And it goes both ways. You know, that your client who has the brain impairment is having a hard time telling you what they want. And you also, in return, have a hard time getting the point across to them. So there's this severe miscommunication between you and your client. And I see a lot of you nodding your head. So it is quite difficult. So there are really no easy solutions, because everybody's different. Even those who are brain impaired adults are different. Personality and other things that is unique to that individual. So I'm here to share with you some basic guidelines so that you can better communicate with them, and also at the same time lower your level of stress, both you and the person that you're caring for. My suggestions are very basic. So nothing fancy, nothing that you have to look it up in the dictionary or anything like that. So the first thing that you want to do is to make sure you have their attention. So sometimes statements, questions made to adults, even those who doesn't have brain impairment, sometimes it's hard to communicate with them. The first thing you want to do is identify almost begin with an identifier. You know, when we want to call on someone and they're not paying attention, you know, Filipinos do that. But and when you try to find an identifier with your client who has a brain impairment, it doesn't have to be a name. It would be something like they love to be called. It's called like terms of endearment. It could be Takaren. Or it doesn't have to be their real name, but something that you would get their attention. So get their attention first. And then, for example, start sentences with mom. You know, you take care of your mom, or, you know, Takaren. And once you get their attention, then you wait until they get the attention before you continue talking to them. And especially if there's a great deal of noises around. And very often it is difficult for impaired individuals to understand when people are talking around them or to them. So the next basic guideline is speak at their eye level, and you enunciate your word. So if they are sitting down, you speak at their level. Make sure you keep an eye contact. So in addition to getting the individual attention, you also need to retain that attention. Once they look at you, keep the eye contact with them before even beginning any conversation with them. So get to his or her eye level. And if someone is on a wheelchair or lying down, then you need to get down to their level. And that's what I do when I do my initial assessment as a case manager at Queen's Medical Center. They laying down and just go over there like this, and I don't like that. So what I do is I take a chair and then go, how are you? And then I make sure that I make contact. Then I continue what I want to tell them. And at the same time, they'll be able to tell you what they want to tell you. So retain that eye contact and try not to occupy yourself with other things. You know, when I go in there, I try not to bring my paper. You know, sometimes I like to write down. And I notice when I start writing down somewhere else, then you lose their attention. You have to enunciate your words so that each is differentiated from the other. So if you go, you know, monotonous, they're going to lose your contact with them. So something, hi, kumusta Nana? How are you today? How are you feeling? So you go, you know, eye level. So the next thing is to use simple and direct statements. So with this one, when you're communicating with them, the statement should be short and descriptive. Instead of saying, Mom, I would appreciate it if you finish your breakfast and got ready because we're running late. That's too long. They're probably, you lost them already. So try this. Mom, please finish up so we can leave on time. And you'll get their attention.